It was amazing because less than like 48 hours before that, I was in a 2 meter wide cell, like in solitary confinement, treated worse than a dog. And now I was on a plane with people that didn't want to hurt me. Sean sat next to me, and Abramovich like came in, and he was like sat down, just like watching everyone like come on. Like he was like he was like pretty polite, but like a bit shy. Like he didn't want to hassle us because of what we were. I mean, at this moment, I knew we were being exchanged because like I knew we were in the hands of like care, because there was medical doctors and everything. So when I got sent to prison, I was in solitary confinement for 5 months. I wasn't allowed to walk. I stayed in that like cell like by 2 meters wide and 2.5 meters in length. In my cell it was a 2-man cell, but there it was like for 4 people, because we had to sleep on the same bed on like some mat that was like infested with lice. We were all infested with lice. There was cockroaches there. That's how we survived for like three weeks, like just eating the piece of bread and whatever water we managed to get. And then eventually we had to like beg them to give us like tap water, because we needed water. We couldn't go to the toilet properly because we didn't have a toilet. We had to wait till they go, and then eventually we had to use the empty bottles to go for the toilet. We had a window, but there was nothing on the window to protect us from the outside elements. It was okay during summer, but winter time it got cold. We also had to like sing the Russian national anthem like every morning, and if you didn't sing it, like you would get punished for it. You could get beaten, or they would punish you some way or another. Yeah, the only time I went out was to do propaganda and phone calls. When they brought these interviews, and I realised if I don't say what they want to hear, then they're going to make life very, very like nasty for me. And because at that point it was literally a matter of survival. They looked at the military ID and then they looked at the passport, and then as they're like flipping through, they realised it's not a Ukrainian passport. And then he like asked me in Russian. It was like, "Where are you from?" And then I said I said like Great Britain in Russian. As soon as I said Great Britain, I got a straight punch to the nose. He beat me pretty good, like probably the best I've ever been beaten. And then he got down on his knees and he was like smoking a cigarette, like, and he was like, "Do you know who I am?" And I was like, "No." And he says like, I'm your death," basically in Russian. And he says like, "Did you see what I did to you?" And I was like, "No." And then he pointed like to my back. He says like, "Do you know what that is?" And he like got his knife out, and at that moment, like I realized I'd been stabbed, and I knew like once I saw myself I'd been stabbed, so I knew there's a very high possibility that I'm about to be killed. He then asked me like, "Do you want a quick death or do you want a beautiful death?" In Russian, I said a quick death, and he says, "No, you're going to have a beautiful death, and I'm going to make sure it's a beautiful death." And then he stopped, and then he started asking, because he told me to take the jacket off, and he saw this trident, and I got beat for this again, for the Ukrainian trident. And then they asked what this tattoo was, and then that's when I told them that I was in Syria before. And as soon as I said I was in Syria, that's when I got another beating. And then he took out his knife and like hold my ear, like, and like shoved his like knife like this, and he says like, "If you don't tell me who you're with like right now, I'm going to cut your ear off."